Is birding fun? Chances are, if you're watching this, then you're considering taking up birding as a hobby and wondering if it's fun and whether you should get into it. Hey, I was also once like you not too recently, and I was also wondering the same question as a beginner birder. So I did a little research online and also asked some other birders on what they think whether birding is fun or not. So here's what I found. Is birding fun? Birding is an extremely fun pastime that is suitable for all ages, backgrounds, and at any time of the year, and at any geographical location. Many birders find birding fun because of these reasons. Number one, the thrill of the hunt. Number two, the wonderful birding community. And number three is that birding is like collecting Pokemon in real life. Firstly, the thrill of the hunt. So if you ever heard of this term, the thrill of the hunt, oh, you haven't heard of it? Well, if you haven't heard of it, then let me explain it to you. The thrill of the hunt is actually a fuzzy instinct and adrenaline in our veins that when we see or hear a particular call of a bird that we don't normally see in our local area. It is an intense and exciting desire to catch a glimpse, just a little glimpse of the bird in question. If you like the feeling of adrenaline pumping through your veins, then this hobby is great for you. So if you've spoken to any bird watcher, then you would realize that they would have described this experience in one way or another. I would say that this is one of the feelings that can make this hobby so fun and exciting. It's actually the main reason why I like birding personally. Some may say that the thrill of the hunt comes all the way from our ancient ancestors who had animals to hunt in order to survive. And it is believed that we as humans still maintain this hobby to some extent, and instead of hunting birds, we're actually spotting them. So spotting is equivalent to the hunting in the past. For those who want to show and not just tell the tale of spotting a brand new bird, they can choose to take pictures of the bird, which is akin to taking the shot for the kill. A similar hobby where people also enjoy this is something like fishing or even hunting. However, this hunt also poses a challenge on top of the traditional hunting sense. However, this hunt also poses a challenge. Bird watching can, however, be harder than actually hunting large animals out in the wild. Why? That's because they can be really fleeting and can be flying from tree to tree really quickly. And especially if the birds are small, it's gonna be really hard to locate them, like whether they're in this tree, that tree, and then they can just change and shift. And also, once you get a really clear shot of the bird, it could just move out of position and you never get to find the bird again. Any false step could actually cause the bird to fly away and abandoning its nest completely. So you wouldn't want that to happen, do you? If you thought birding was all calming and exciting, just in the nature, looking at birds, think again. Things can get really heated and fun in this hobby, especially when the bird is really hard to find and track down. Secondly, we have the wonderful birding community. One of the most fun things, especially when I head out birding, is definitely the birding community. It often feels like we are on a quest together to find out some lost treasure together. All of us will be dressed in our drab colors, with our birding gear of varying sizes, and most importantly, our equally wide smiles on our faces when we spot a rare bird together. And all of this is based on true personal experiences. Unlike some other hobbies, bird watching is actually not really a solitary hobby, although it can be. Bird watchers who think alike tend to gather together to enjoy the hobby together. Or shall I say, birds of the same feather flock together. Birds tend to flock to a location when they can find an abundant source of food or protein in an area of higher concentration of natural resources. As such, it is common to see other bird watchers in the same areas, possibly like a place where only migratory birds settle. You can actually approach these people because they are actually, most of the time, tend to be friendly and willing to help you out in your bird watching. So make sure to approach them if you're out birding. They tend to be really friendly and kind. Beyond just the casual interaction, there are also many birding groups on Facebook and official associations that you can be part of. For me, myself, I personally enjoy the community of bird watchers in the Facebook group that I'm in, which is known as Bird Sightings. for birds in Singapore and Malaysia, as they always help each other out in IDing the birds. It's actually one of the rules. When you post a picture on the page, you need to state its location and the species and what date you found it. This is to actually help out other birders who are willing to search for the same bird in the area of interest. The best part has to be definitely the encouragement that they give to each other, especially when you want to track down a rarer bird. So for example, you can even post a picture on this Facebook group or any other Facebook group in your area, and then just asking for an ID. So let's say you have a bird with two very similar looking birds, and you want to identify which is which. So if you post a picture on there and give some comparison for people to compare, there are many other experienced birders you can actually take advice from and actually learn about the different and small subtle differences between these two birds. If you'd like to get more socially involved in birding, there are actually more social activities that birders can do. Number one is actually the birding festivals, and number two, birding tours. Now these two social events are actually events that help you to get to know new people who actually have the same hobby as you. And I, for one, personally know that there are many people who are just in other hobbies who are just dying to find out, just want to talk to someone else who actually enjoys the same hobby as them. But unfortunately, they can't do that. Well, but in birding, we're a little bit different. The other hobbies are really all missing out on the interaction that we have. So rest assured, we won't face such problems. What I think is that if you join an official association for bird watching, it can actually instill a great sense of belonging, of community, and as you develop and love this fantastic hobby together, you'll learn to grow and develop into a more experienced and more aware birder. Well, we humans are definitely not meant to be solitary. So do make sure you reach out to the birding community when you start as a birder. And thirdly, birding is like collecting Pokemon in real life. Okay, Pokemon lovers, I know what you're thinking after you seeing this heading. Yes, birding is indeed like collecting Pokemon in real life, even with the Pokédex and all. Here's why. For those of you who are familiar with Pokemon Go, the app that you use to look for a Pokemon in your area, just that instead of catching Pokemon this time, we're actually capturing pictures of birds. Shots of birds are usually proudly showed off on WhatsApp and on Facebook groups among bird watchers, something like the rare shiny Pokemon that you found in Pokemon Go, or even on other Pokemon games, especially in your Game Boy or whatever platform you used to play on. Step aside Pokemon Go, here comes birding. So if you'd like to experience a real life example of something like the same feeling as playing Pokemon and collecting different kinds of Pokemon, then you'd actually be interested in birding, because you'll be surprised birds are actually very similar to Pokemon. The elusiveness and rarity of shiny Pokemon can be actually compared to the very rare and beautiful birds that we have right here on planet Earth. Identification, statistics, and details of Pokemon can be comparable to birds' information such as calls, mating rituals, the migratory maps, and so on and so forth. But all of this is done in real life. While it may be valuable for some gamers to identify a Pokemon really quickly, it's also equally important for a bird watcher to do the same. Instead of studying the small statistics of how powerful your Pokemon move is, bird watchers get to compare and share the camera settings, angles, and locations in which they found the bird. So if all that doesn't convince you already, there's an actually equivalent to the Pokédex in birding. What, really? Pokédex? Are you serious? Yes, I'm not kidding. Birders usually keep a list of bird species that they've spotted in their lifetime. So this list is actually a unique list, and it's called the life list. Why is it called life list? The life list is actually a list of different lifers. So lifers are birds that a bird can only spot once in their lifetime. What I mean is that, let's say if you spot a black-capped chickadee, then this bird is only your lifer for the first time that you saw it. There's actually a Pokédex for it. In modern times, this life list is actually being kept digitally in a smartphone app, where all the records like sounds, its pictures, videos, habitat range, and many other information of the birds are actually stored. Now if you think about it, this app sounds a lot like a Pokédex, right? Well, this app is actually known as the eBird app. While there are actually other apps who also does the same functions, the eBird app is the most popular out of all of them. Bird scientists actually also use this data to actually track down birds and conduct their research. The functions extend beyond just a Pokédex, which is actually just an imaginary dictionary and compilation of all the Pokemon you've seen. So if you like Pokemon, you'll definitely have a knack for bird watching. That's for sure. In fact, many Pokemon were actually inspired by birds in real life. So you're gonna have a lot of fun birding. So I've actually compiled 3 more other reasons why birding is fun, So if you go to birdingoutdoors.com/fun, that's birdingoutdoors.com/fun, to see 3 more reasons why birding is fun and whether you should get into this hobby. I'll also be introducing you to the different kinds of ways you can get started in bird watching. Hey, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and goodbye.